Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get things started. Main event action coming your way from Piquet Race Park and Entertainment Complex. Junior Max, the first of 6 finals to get started here today. I believe it's a 13-lap main event, if I'm not mistaken, here for the young kids from 11 to 15 years old. As we take a look through the starting lineup here, Henry Beaudet in the booth with me. My name's Xander Clements, live on Kart Chaser for the coverage of the RMC Winter Trophy. Let's take a look as the 13-lap main event comes to fruition. Salvador de la Vecchia will lead us off here on the inside of row number 1.
It'll be alongside de la Vecchia on the outside of row number 1. Yesterday's winner, Gennaro Trapper in Kart 202. On row number 2, it's Frederic Lemieux in Kart 206 and the number 215 of Eric Cuesta.
Row number 3 will be Francisco Paredes, I believe, in the number 205 machine on the inside. On the outside, it'll be the 213 of Nathan Dupuy.
Then it is Victor de Alencar on row number 4 alongside Chase Lee. With the remaining runners, number 200, Tiziano Antolo Neto, the number 201 of Javier Felipe Chaparro, rounding out the field, the number 207 of Olivier Marac, and the number 210 of Josh Sankapasand. Have we got all 12 carts out there? We believe we do. So here we go. This is it. A quick reminder. Yesterday in the final, it was Lemieux. Was Josh Sankapasand rounding out the top 10. Yesterday was Tiziano Antolo Nieto. What will be the outcome today? We're going to find out right about not now. Oh my word, a crash to start, sending drivers scattering. I've got to say, the drivers, well, that was right then. I don't criticise drivers very much because I think they're all supremely talented. However, the junior drivers were not very well behaved there at all. Number one, they almost took out our starter Nelson down there at the front, and that was dangerous. And then they all crashed into them and almost took out our first marshal and our photographer. Drivers, you are better than that. And I think we are underway. This is the first race lap. They have cost themselves a lap of racing. And hopefully we will have better behavior from the drivers in every other race. That's it, my time. I will get off my soapbox. Like I said, I don't criticize drivers very often, but that was dangerous. And the drivers need to be aware that there are human beings on the track, making sure that we start these races properly. Okay, now carry on, back to the racing. Salvador de la Vecchia, Gennaro Trapper are on the front row of the starting grid. Lemieux, Cuesto, Paredes, Dupuy, and the rest. De Alencar, Lee, Chase Lee, the Anglo-American driver.
And now one thing to keep in mind here, Henry, we saw this in the heat races, right, that these drivers burning that opening lap, we run on time. This will mean probably a 12-lap main event as the timer has, the official timing has started.
Yep, and I got no problems with that because they were dangerous. Those drivers were dangerous at the start, and it could have been worse because we could have an ambulance on the track dealing with several officials having some unpleasant injuries there. But so again, but like I said, we'll move swiftly on. Again, it's the flags I'm worried about. Nelson, we can replace Nelson, but we can't replace the yellow flag. We've only got one of those.
Yeah. We can always find another Nelson down there. It's okay. It'll be good. As we get set here, yellow flag's coming in the air. Here he is in the middle of the road there. He's going to try and play chicken with the drivers again and get them to slow on down. Let's see if they will behave on attempt number 2. Junior Max, first main event of the afternoon. Are we good enough to go green? We are. We're racing down to turn 1. And around the outside, Gennaro Trapper is going to get put 3 wide to turn 2.
Trapper trying to keep it tough, high, wide and handsome. He's going to lose 3-4 places. Paredes up into P4. But look at Salvador Della Vecchia go. Cuesta is second. Lemieux is third. Paredes is fourth. Nathan Dupuy up into the top 5. And yesterday's winner, Gennaro Trapper, all the way down in 6th position. Alan Carr and Lee are next in line. Chaparro is also down in the mix there. And what can Gennaro Trapper do now? He's got 1 lap less than he thought to do something about the karts in front of him. Nathan Dupuy is the first driver in line, but Trapper can't make a move yet. And all the while, Salvador Della Vecchia, Venezuela's Salvador Della Vecchia, last year's Minimax Winter Trophy champion, is clearing off the 12-year-old from Puerto de la Cruz in Venezuela.
Yeah, Salvador Della Vecchia here as he comes around. It'll be 2 laps completed in the total timer here this time. 2 down, 11 to go. Della Vecchia, where is the gap for the number 209 Lando Norris Kart driver? Well, across the stripe, it's going to be 1 second even. Back to Eric Cuesto, then Federico Lemieux. Then it is Francisco Paredes, then Dupuy, and then all the way back to Gennaro Trapper. Here's Dupuy on the inside of Paredes, and Trapper's going to get them both in turn 4. What a move.
Great opportunism there for Gennaro Trapper. He needed to do that if he's got any hope of catching Salvador Della Vecchia and even getting himself up into the 2nd position. He had to do that then. Dupuy made the move. Dupuy did all the hard work. He opened the door, and Trapper just calmly went through. And as Dupuy, oh, there's a move. There's Lemieux. There is Frederic Lemieux.
Getting by Eric Cuesto there, and Gennaro Trapper nearly got by on Cuesto as well as they go through. Here he goes this time in turn 17. Quickly makes work of Eric Cuesto, and Gennaro Trapper is determined to get going. But look at the gap already. Salvador Della Vecchia, big time lead as we go down the front straightaway.
We complete lap number 3. Salvador Della Vecchia leads Frederic Lemieux by 1.6 seconds. Gennaro Trapper right in Lemieux's wheel tracks. Here's a look further back. There is Chaparro making a move on the other of the Lando Norris karts, chasing Chase Lee, and just behind Francisco Paredes. Paredes, who lost 2 places at turn 4 a lap ago. A quick reset. There is Gennaro Trapper now closing in on Frederic Lemieux, and I think that Gennaro is going to make short work of the young Canadian lady up the inside of the turn of 15. There he goes, understeers a little bit in that Esprit chassis, runs a little bit wide, but Gennaro Trapper, the AM engines 202, moves into P2, and in a couple of corners we'll see what the deficit is to the race leader. But so Salvador Della Vecchia getting stronger and stronger as the race progresses. I was joking with Gennaro Trapper earlier this morning, saying, come on Gennaro, make it a little bit more interesting for us. And he was like laughing and smiling, going, yeah, don't worry Henry, just for you. I didn't realise how serious he was being. The gap is 1.54 seconds to race leader Salvador Della Vecchia. Back in the back, there's the move through turn number 3. That is a 201 of Javier Felipe Chaparro, making a move on Olivier Marac, who was up in 7th position. Alan Carr is 9th. Chase Lee down in 10th. Sankabasan and Antolon Nieto round out the runners. But Venezuela's Salvador Della Vecchia leads the gap 1.5 seconds. Gennaro Trapper with a full head of steam and a whole lot of retribution on his mind is closing in. There's the battle further back. Nathan Dupuy trying to hold off Francisco Paredes and Oliver Marac, forcing, Dupuy, 3 wide. Chase Lee.
Up and over in that Coastal Metal EOS kart here. He's trying to get back going. There's Oliver Marac trying to get going as well. Lee somehow survives it. Lee makes up a lot of ground. Great move by Chase Lee. He'll take him down the front straightaway. Leader with that group of 3 to turn number 1 up to 7th, the highest he's run. And a pass mate as well behind. Dale Carr slides it on Paredes. Lots of shuffling beyond the top 5.
Second yesterday for Victor Dale Carr. And now he's just battling to try and stay in the top 7 or 8. News flash. Gennaro Trapper, half a second faster than Salvador Della Vecchia last time around. There he is. The big green racing machine is closing in on the race leader. Della Vecchia best get his head down. We've got lots of time remaining, but it is, Trapper looks absolutely irresistible at the moment. He's got his head locked in. He's not moving around. Great study of how he's driving that car on our screens there. Through turn number 12, over the bumps, and he is just closing in, hand over fist. Next time around, this last time a 105.0 for Trapper, a 105.3 for Della Vecchia. Further back, here is Eric Questo in the number 215, that pink and purple machine, chasing Frederic Lou. And further back, that is Javier Chaparro passing Nathan Dupuis for 5th position. Dupuis down to 6th. It's all going off, Xander.
All kinds of passing going on around. Lots of different battles through the racetrack here. Great job by the camera crew to capture them all as Chaparro leads this pairing down the hill here for 5th. So Javier Chaparro up. This is a look up the road to the third place fight. Federico Lemieux and Eric Questo, 3rd and 4th. You can see Gennaro Trappa's up the road. Trappa last time by was 3/10 better than the race leader as well. So you have a battle for 5th, a battle for 3rd, and a looming battle for the lead as the group for 5th and 6th come by. They're spread out for 7th and 8th. But up front this time here, Henry, 6 laps complete, 7 laps to go. And Salvador de la Vecchia's lead 0.3 of a second as they go single file there for 2nd and 3rd, or 3rd and 4th. Up front, it's about to get hairy here for the top position on the racetrack as here comes Gennaro Trappa, 2 car lengths back from Salvador de la Vecchia. Look how close he is into turn 7.
And what the chasing drivers, Lemieux and Cuesta, need to do, I know they're having a great battle amongst themselves. Now's the time they need to go single file to work together, because Trappa will make the move. I am certain Trappa is going to make the move going into this next corner. Turn number 15. Can he make it this time around? Not quite. Della Vecchia is going to fight and claw and defend. This is going to allow Lemieux and Questo to close in. At the moment, they're 1.9 seconds behind these 2 karts. Into turn 17. Now turn 18. Around the 19th corner. Over the bump. Watch these 2 bump. Boom, 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 into the corner there. Flat out. The karts stay absolutely rooted to the ground. And you can see Della Vecchia checking over his shoulder. Now he's aware that Trappa is there. He's going to start becoming more defensive.
Yeah, he knows that he's there, but he's going to leave the door open at turn 3. And there he goes. Gennaro Trappa only took him 7 laps and a quarter to be able to get back to the lead after fading all the way back to the 6th position. Gennaro Trappa was not phased at all, and he has carved his way to the front once again.
Salvador Della Vecchia is going to regret not just keeping that inside line covered. Going into turn number 3 there. It's like you don't open the door, and Trappa is not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. He took full advantage. The question is now, on judging by the reflected pace, I mean, Gennaro Trappa's best lap, a 104.7. Best lap for Della Vecchia, a 105.0. Trappa's got an extra 0.3 of a second worth of pace in that kart. It's going to take an almighty effort for Della Vecchia to get it back on turn, but he's caught him. He's in the slipstream. Here we go. Through turn number 1, flat out, and Trappa defends. He's going to ease Della Vecchia wide, I think. No, he doesn't. He covers a little bit better on the inside there, does Trappa, than Della Vecchia did. But Della Vecchia, maybe I spoke too soon, Xander. Maybe I wrote Della Vecchia off too soon.
Remember, he was the fastest driver coming to the grid in yesterday's main event, so now he's already at the front. Maybe he feels like he's still got pace and he can wait a little bit and learn from Gennaro Trappa. This is the closest he's had to follow him all weekend long. On that same point there, Henry, I don't know what it is about the bumps going off the line and trying to do a late apex for a crossover. It has never worked for any driver this weekend in turns 2 or 3, really. Maybe a couple oddity circumstances, but De La Vecchia, he might have been even closer to him if he just followed him and went low.
Exactly. There have been a couple, like you said, but there were extenuating circumstances in those days. It just seems as though as the drivers cut across the bumps at that wrong angle, it unsettles the kart, possibly unsettles the driver, because, of course, every time the wheels leave the ground at an angle, they come back, and it just takes a millisecond to right themselves. The drivers have to react. Now we're through turn number 2. past the spectators, who are growing number. Oh, Trapper's gone wide.
Oh.
Trapper lost it. Trapper outbraked himself into turn number 3, all on his own. He just missed an apex. Oh, one mistake for Gennaro Trapper. And Salvador de Vecchia capitalises. Now we've got Lemieux in 3rd. We've got Cuesta in 4th. They're battling away. They have been caught by Javier Chaparro in 5th. So 3 battling for the final step of the podium. But Gennaro Trapper's got to do it all again. We're on lap number 11 out of 13 now.
Unbelievable here. 10 laps complete. Working lap number 11 in this main event in Junior Max as they work their way around. We'll update the ticker in the top left corner. There it goes. Here they come for 3rd, coming out of the final or couple corners. Down the run to turn number 20. It is Frederique Lemieux over Cuesto, over Chaparro, and across the line. 2 to go here, side by side for 3rd. Almost he gets the door shut in his face. There is Eric Cuesto, and Salvador de Vecchia now just needs to cruise it home with an 8-10 lead. Look at Cuesto on the outside. He'll let Chaparro get there. They're still side by side, and he goes to the marbles.
And you can see the gravel being kicked onto the track there. I've got to say, Chaparro squeezed Eric Cuesto like a zit going in at turn number 3. And Cuesto fights straight back. This is great stuff. I was going to say the spectators watching in the main round, and there are lots of them, are being treated to an absolute festival of speed here in the first ever race meeting at Piquet Race and Entertainment Centre. Up in the front, Della Vecchia leads by 0.8 of a second, and the white flag is being prepared. We've got 1.5 laps to go. We don't know who's going to win, and we don't know who's going to finish 3rd, and this is only the first main event of 6.
What a way to kick things off here. Gennaro Trapper, last time by 0.8 back from Salvador de Vecchia. How far back is he now? He's only picked up half a tenth. Here's the fight for 3rd. Down to turn 1. Lemieux goes low. Crossover. Yeah, whoa. There's contact. And they're on top of each other. Cuesto on top of Lemieux. They're stuck in turn number 2. Oh, no.
Cuesto was just, and again, round the outside goes out to Alencar. And again, Cuesto just went in deep. He went in deep. That is settled in for 3rd. It's going to be Chaparro in 3rd place. Who is going to win? Della Vecchia through turn 14 now. Oh, where are we on the team? There we go. Della Vecchia up towards the teardrop, and I don't think Gennaro Trapper is going to close him. I think Salvador de Vecchia is going to go from the hospital on Thursday morning to the top of the podium on Sunday afternoon. Xander Clements, bring them home.
Unbelievable stuff from Salvador de Vecchia. He'll round turn number 20. Full throttle, full gas ahead. Salvador de Vecchia wins round 2 in Junior Max.
What a result there. So exciting. Xander nearly fell off his chair.
Yeah, just about there. Leaned back too far. Salvador de Vecchia looks to the heavens there, and you can see at the same time the difference of the day there for Frederique Lemieux and Eric Cuesto off in the sidelines at turn number 2. What a change in events at the end. How about Javier Chaparro, the Lando Norris car driver, number 201, gets a 3rd place result. He's on the podium. You talk about De La Vecchia going from the hospital to the top step. How about Chaparro from 5 feet in the air, spinning like a pirouette and keeping his head in the game yesterday to getting a piece of hardware here today?
And he's looking at that. So, of course, we must remind you now Salvador de Vecchia is your provisional winner, providing there are no penalties, there's no tech penalties. Salvador de Vecchia wins a Formula 4 test session. We've got the car here in the paddock. De Vecchia wins some F4 testing. Well, he may have to just sort of keep that prize in the back of his mind for a little while, being that he is only 12.
Yeah, he's just
but
right.
What a prize to have in the bank for later in life. And again, that international motorsports, provide the prizes here at Piquet Raceway Park. Salvador de Vecchia, Venezuela. Well, Venezuela did have, they've had Formula 1 drivers in the past. Johnny Cicotto springing to mind. Maldonado springing to mind as well. They can have a Formula 4 test driver in a couple of years with Salvador Dalla Vecchia. And, well, what a wait. A quick rundown. The full and final provisional results. Dalla Vecchia and Gennaro Trappa 1-2. Javier Chaparro in third. Nathan Dupuis is fourth. Chase Lee. Well, if you've got anyone watching from Manchester in England, Chase is dad from Manchester. He finishes fifth. Victor de Alencar, yesterday's runner-up in sixth. Josh Sanker-Pasand in seventh. Tiziano Antola eighth. Paredes finishes in ninth. Lemieux and Cuesto, as well as Oliver Marac, failed to finish. As we look at, once again, at some of the spectators and some of the flags, you've got the Peruvian flag, the Colombian flag, you've got the Venezuelan flag, they'll be cheering and shouting, you've got the stars and stripes, and you've got the Brazilian flag out there. That was a doozy.
Well, how about that? Ladies and gentlemen, here, you're featured live on the air into Around the World and on the top of the Piquet Race Park and Entertainment stand. For those here on the spectator stand, wave to the camera just across the way and make some noise. Are you ready for Senior Max's main event live from Piquet Race Park?
Okay, everyone watching on the thing there, that was poor.
That was
rubbish. Right, if you're on the spectator stand, specifically if you're standing directly behind the Venezuelan flag, the American flag, the Brazilian flag, and the Colombian flag, you're on camera, and the Argentine flag. Now we'll have you give us a big cheer. Are you ready for Senior Rotax? That's more like it. You got Nelson in the background there. Big up, Nelson.
Yeah, the best hype man right there. We know we got Nelson. He's made it. He didn't get run over in junior. He's ready to watch some Senior Max action. The vibes are good. The racing is set to get underway. Let's take you through as the engines come to life. Senior Max's starting lineup, and boy, oh boy, has it changed at the front of the field. Well, after the way everything has shaken out here,
it's going to be Eduardo Barrichello on row number 1 in kart number 319, and alongside him on the row 1, it's number 316, Gianluca Savaglio.
The number 313 of Aiden Fox will make up the inside of row number 2 to the outside. The number 324, wild man from Heat 2, Isaac Canto.
Wes Duchak will go for the inside of row number 3 alongside yesterday's race winner, Noel Leon.
Look at that there. Timothy Pernod rolls off from the back of the grid. The number 311, PSO Karting Burrell Art, but back up the grid here behind Noel Leon in the 325. You look to row 4. It's the 301, Nash Motorsports EOS Kart of Ethan Thorne. To his outside, FIFO Barrichello in the PSL Karting Bureau Art in 8th.
Row number 5, it's number 332, Jorge Ortiz, last year's junior champion, and starting alongside Jorge Ortiz in kart number 3 is Camilo Trappa.
Moving back from Camilo Trappa, you'll find, is that Wes Duchak, Chris Farino in the number 328, is starting 11. Duchak's up the order. And then you go back to find Brian Garcia in the 322.
Sofia Marac goes from grid number 13, and starting on the outside of row number 7, it is Santiago Ego Aguirre. Then, further back in the back, row number 8, we have number 310, Miguel Paragueta, and the number 331 of Tim Harrell. On row number 9, the 306 of Manuel Gonzalez, and the number 326 of Luciano Navarro. 321 goes next in line, that's Gonzalo Molina from 19th to the grid. The 304 of Mauricio Olaya hopefully is out there, and that it will be him on grid number 20. Rounding out the field, Matthew Barose and Timothy Pernod, the 22 kart starting lineup. It does look as though we have not got Mama Ochoa out there in kart number 305. It also looks as though we have lost the number Augustine Trapper as well in kart 309. But here we go. Eduardo Barrichello leads him to the line. Senior Rotax underway.
And a terrible start for Wes Duchak. He'll give up a number of spots on the inside lane. Great news for the outside group, though. Canto to 4th, Noel Leon to 5th. They're side by side here as FIFO Barrichello faded back a lot of spots. He'll pick up one there coming out of turn number 3 and over through 4, and that allows the midfield to kind of separate from him as Timothy Pernod is going to pick up at least 4 spots on the opening lap. What do your leaders look like? Well, let's pick them up. It is Dudu Barrichello over Aiden Fox in the Fox and Son OTK. Look how close he is. Is Aiden Fox going to throw a dive bomb on the opening lap? He will not into the Piquet teardrop, but Noel Leon will. He gets by Isaac Canto. Here comes Wes Ducek. Here comes Jorge Ortiz as he goes side by side with Ethan Thorne. Oh, man.
Ortiz put a block on Thorne there. Thorne was committed. Ortiz defended. There was almost contact. Now, there's Timothy Pernot just flashing through your shot there in Kart 311, the red and white Birrell ART driver. Here comes, though, Aiden Fox looking for the race lead. Aiden Fox almost taking Eduardo Barrichello, but Eduardo Barrichello holds on. Gianluca Savaglio and Noel Leon now move into position in 3 and 4. Last year, Aiden Fox finished 25th in the Rotax Grand Final, senior Rotax class, made it to the final. I think was the only Team USA driver to make it to the final in senior Rotax, and raced with Eduardo Barrichello in that race. And now they head through turn 13. Aiden Fox, the Fox & Sons driver from Connecticut, is doing a great job. Here comes Noel Leon at the inside of Savaglio over P3, though, and put Mexico in P3. And are we going to see him move the lead? Not quite. As Aiden Fox thought about it into turn number 16, Barrichello holds on. Here comes Aiden Fox. New leader for the first time all weekend, Aiden Fox.
And now Barrichello got a bumper full of Noel Leon coming out of that corner. He's got to go on defense mode still here to hang on. Coming into the distance is Wes Ducek in that RPG PK Sports Cosmic. To Barrichello, big run to turn 2. Not enough to get by, but enough to keep Leon at bay for now. Nobody dives into turn 3. They all are a little bit narrow. It's a 5-driver lead grouping. Can you ask for anything more here, Henry, in Senior Max's main event? Sunday, end of the weekend. Look at Leon. Dive bomb and got second away from Barrichello. Great pass there for P2.
Really good move. And, of course, now Leon runs a little bit wide. Due to Barrichello, Gianluca Savaglio, they're going to want to close. They're going to want to follow. And you've got Wes Ducek there, rounding out the top 5. Followed by Canto, Ortiz, Thorne, Trapper, Verino, Marak, Gonzalez. That's your top 12. Fernando Barrichello is 13th. Then Brian Garcia, Timothy Pernot up in the 15th position. And then the rest trailing on behind, but all eyes at the front. Can Aiden Fox hold on? Now, Aiden Fox has been quietly catchy monkey for Aiden Fox. That has been his modus operandi this weekend. He is going to have to make the rear end of that kart as wide as one of the semi-trailers going down Southern Boulevard just outside the circuit. And look at that. He knows he's got to defend. On a lap-to-lap basis, he is not as quick as Noel Leon, of that we know. But he's got track position, and he's going to make Noel Leon fight for it. The more he defends, the slower they go, the more Savaglio, Barrichello, and Ducek will close back up, and that is what Aiden Fox needs. He needs to drag Noel Leon into an absolute dogfight.
Yeah, he's done a good job of it so far. Meanwhile, Gianluca Savaglio was able to get around Dudu Barrichello. So Savaglio starting to charge forward on that REM Cosmic. Look at this, turn 17 for the lead. Leon is through. Noel Leon caught Aiden Fox in the one corner. He did not think he was going to get by him. And right there, he pounced. The Alessandro's Racing CRG driver trying to go back-to-back. Here comes Gianluca Savaglio. He'll get a big run as I think Fox not having the top end speed to his competitors. Here comes Savaglio to the bumper into 2. Through the hairpin. Is Fox going to fight the battle there back for second? Oh, Savaglio had to worry about Barrichello back for that third position. And all the while, Noel Leon gets away. Here's a look back at Timothy Pernot. He's starting to make his way forward from the back of the grid. Has cracked the top 15. Is working the back bumper of, I believe,
Manuel Gonzalez,
indeed,
the Dominican Republic-based driver. Last year in juniors, Manuel Gonzalez finished 4th in the Junior Rotax Winter Trophy last year. Had the loudest supporters club anywhere in Orlando last year. They're going to need to start singing as loud as they can to help Manuel get up towards the top 10 here. But already you could see Noel Leon simply irresistible, to quote Robert Palmer.
He's doing a great job at pulling that gap early here before Savaglio can get around Aiden Fox. As Fox's pace right now might be enough for a podium, it does not appear early on to be enough for a main event win. 5 down, 10 to go. Here comes Savaglio once again to the bumper of Aiden Fox as Gianluca is going to look for a way past. He's not been able to do it. Maybe he doesn't have more pace than Fox. Maybe Aiden Fox is the best of the rest, and it's all Noel Leon head and shoulders above the field. That wouldn't surprise us. That's been the story of this weekend, though, Henry.
I was going to say, Fox is not being overly defensive. Fox is driving the usual racing line. Savalio is not attacking him. Savalio is just following. I think they're all sort of that slow dawn and the realization that maybe second place is the best that any of us can hope for. And they're thinking, well, Savalio thinking, well, if I'm gonna lose more time fighting with Aiden, let's just see how it goes. Maybe the pace will pick up. We still have got, we're not even half distance yet. We're just over a third of the way through this race. So we're not writing the epitaph on this one just yet, but it does look as though Noel Leon is in a class of his own once again. Here comes Eduardo Barrichello at the inside of Savalio. He takes the position, and here comes Wes Duchak trying to make it 2 for 1, and he moves up. So Savalio drops from 3rd to 5th in the space of 2 corners. Savalio, he's between a rock and a hard place. If Savalio defends, he loses touch with Aiden Fox, and he loses touch to the potential second place. If he doesn't defend, he loses positions, but not as much track position. It's a real conundrum that Savalio is trying to solve, but he has still got many laps left, to try and re-attack Wes Duchak, like that.
There he goes into the Piquet teardrop. He'll get back on him, and we got big contact in the back of the field. That's the not even that far back. That's the 301 of Ethan Thorne and the 308 of Camilo Trappa that have come together hard as well. Look at the heavy damage to that Nash Motorsports EOS card.
That is 8th and 9th, was 8th and 9th place. That will promote Chris Marino up into 8th place. Timothy Pinot will get up into 9th, and Manuel Gonzalez will break into the top 10. Sofia Marak will move into P11. Quick word about Chris Marino. He's gone about his business very quietly today. Almost didn't start the opening race, but after a disappointing final yesterday, he's on course for another thing. Last year's junior champion Jorge Ortiz in 7th position. But the leaders, this is the chasing pack. There is so it's coming out of turn number 10 and 11. You've got the 2 damaged cars in the background. Here's your leader, Noel Leon, 2 seconds up the road. Aiden Fox and Eduardo Barrichello chasing hard. Then another gap back to Savalio and Duchak. And then a 3-second gap behind Duchak to Canto in 6th, who has got Ortiz chasing him hard, Verino in 8th, Pinot, Gonzalez, Marak, Garcia, Igor Aguera, Parra, and Gonzalo Molina rounding out the top 15.
Here they come to the final corner. Aiden Fox trying to hang on over Barrichello. Leon still leads by a good margin, but Barrichello is there and through. Dudu Barrichello up to 2nd. Great run forward here late in the going for the PSO Karting Bureau Art. I say late, we're just past the halfway marker here. 8 down, 7 to go, and Aiden Fox now goes back to 3rd. Gianluca Savalio trying to close back up. Duchak still there in that 5th spot on that PK Sports RPG Cosmic. It's a big gap still from the top 5 to Isaac Canto in the 6th position. Noel Leon has built that lead up, though, to 2.7 seconds and growing here over the field. Here's a look further back at Timothy Pernot. He's caught up to Chris Farino. Inside, clear, another spot forward for the PSL Karting Canadian as he moves on up now into the 8th position.
Now, because Timothy Pernot had to register a new engine, he took an even bigger penalty than he would have done. So he started right at the back of the field, and he is picking them up and putting them down. That puts him into P8, Timothy Pernot. There's a brief look back here, but you can't take your eyes off this scrap for a second. Really smart racing. So, but I've got to give credit to Barrichello, to Fox, to Savalio, to Duchak. They're all driving very maturely. No, they're not defending that much, but when one opens the door, they're making moves when possible. This is smart driving, and this shows the experience. These are world-level drivers. This is Barrichello, 5th in the world last year. This is Fox, 25th in the world last year. This is Savalio, 5th in the DD2 World Championship back in 2021. This is real smart drivers. A lot of the other drivers, you can see everyone else battling and nose to tail. These karters, they think, okay, it's only the last lap that counts. let's leave ourselves in the best position possible on the last lap to do something. Then all heck can break loose. But right now, let's just drive and let's not trip each other up and slow each other down to see what happens.
As they come onto the front stretch here this time by, it'll be 10 laps complete, 5 laps to go. And what more can you say about this kid, the Mexican, Noel Leon, as he leads out of turn number 3. It has been not a weekend without blemishes. That Heat 1 crash, of course, with himself and Timothy Pernod definitely hurt his weekend. However, he has been the driver to beat nearly every single session. The pace of that Alessandro's Racing CRG has been phenomenal. And after a win yesterday and in priming position for a win today, he will enter Orlando with a hefty championship points lead, even with that 11th place result and crash in heat number 1. Overall, a very, very good weekend here in the works for the Mexican Miami-based driver in Noel Leon. He'll round turn number 20 here this time for his 3rd week in a row of action. It could be his first checkered flag.
Hello.
Yes. Oh. Isaac Canto? Is that Isaac Canto? No, that's further back in the field. Sorry.
Back in the field. Sorry. I was just getting Ethan Thorne and Camilo Trapper have gone out. Matthew Barose has retired. So is Fernando Barrichello, sadly. Luciano Navarro. So we're down to 16 runners. And Brian Garcia, Gonzalo Marina, Sofia Marak running 12th, 13th, the 14th. Manuel Gonzalez still in 10th position. But, it's just a textbook drive for Noel Leon on lap number 12. And, looking a bit further back there, we've got Harrell in 16th. He's the last kart still running. Molina is 15th. Para Aguirre is 14th. Garcia is 13th. Then Santiago Igo Aguirre in 12th. Marak is 11th. Gonzalez 10th. Marino 9th. Pinot 8th. Canto 7th. Ortiz 6th. Duchak is 5th, then Gianluca Savalio, and of course then your top 3, looking at 3rd place driver Aidan Fox at the moment, who is gradually losing touch to Eduardo Barrichello. Will Aidan Fox be able to hold on to that podium position, or will Savalio catch him? I've got a feeling things are finally sort of settling down ever so slightly.
Yeah, definitely so here. It's a 4-second gap out front, about a second or so between each of the contenders. The closest gap is the one we've got on screen from Gianluca Savalio back to Wes Duchak from 4th to 5th here. Duchak's been as high as 3rd today. However, it's still a solid day and a better result than where he was yesterday. Talked to his dad a little bit earlier on in the weekend that, last weekend was a good weekend for the Rock Winter Tour. Not a good weekend into the opening rounds of the SCUSA Winter Series in Homestead. It was looking for a confidence boost, a real pick-me-up. Yesterday, put some adversity in front of him. He drove forward to the top 10, and today he's got himself now inside the top 5, looking very, very strong, heading to Orlando, a place where he's got a good amount of laps as the Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach-based driver is no stranger to the Piquet Race Park. Him and his dad have been championing this project here, being some of the biggest cheerleaders for it. At every race we saw in North America, I would talk to Wes, I would talk to his dad Kevin, and they would talk about, man, we are so excited to have a racetrack in our backyard once again. And Piquet Race Park here, the first ever race, competing in it. Wes would love to come away with some hardware in his first ever weekend on home turf. He needs a little more speed to get there right now, though, but he might be able to get to 4th, as with 2 laps to go, he's 2 car lengths away from Canadian Gianluca Savalio.
2 sticks in the air by our flagman out on the start-finish line. We are running lap 14 out of 15. It has been a long and arduous senior Rotax weekend. The survivors, and it has been a battle of survival in some respects. They will all be feeling it tomorrow morning. Noel Leon leads. Now we look at the 3rd place kart. There's Fox. Here is your leader. It has been a serene performance. White flag in the air. Noel Leon leads by 5 seconds in that CRG kart prepared by Alessandro's Racing. Out to turn number 3. He goes now, avoiding the gravel trap on the exit of that corner, through 4, through 5. It has not been a walk in the park. He has had to battle back from an accident in heat number 1. but after making the passes he needed to make at the start of the final, he has exerted his authority. He has raced in the Rotax Grand Finals before, back in 2019 in Sarno, and I believe even 2018 in Paraíba in Brazil. He is by no means certain of racing in the 2023 Grand Finals. There's a lot of racing to go before we decide that, but Noel Leon from Monterrey in Mexico has dominated the second half of this senior Rotax field. He looks behind him, a bit of showboating. Leon does the double here at Piquet Raceway Park, and there is nothing that Eduardo Barrichello, Aidan Fox, Gianluca Savalio, Wes Ducek, or the rest can do about it.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, for Noel Leon, it's not cockiness when you can back it up, and he's backed it up. It's just straight confidence here this weekend, and a huge boost for the CRG brand. Back-to-back 125 Pro Senior wins for the first time in a couple of seasons. Noel Leon brings them that victory here on what has been a very hot start to his 2023 season. So the Alessandro's Racing USA CRG driver enters Orlando with a healthy championship lead. Dudu Barrichello will be the closest contender to him, and he will pull alongside and give him a thumbs up and said, you know what, buddy? You had my number this weekend. You had everybody's number this weekend.
This is really good because all these drivers here raced really well, really respectfully. And it's a shame we haven't got a camera down much because the reaction when they come in, when they get out of the karts, you know, sometimes you'll see the drivers, they flick the visors open, they're like hand gestures, oh, what are you doing, what are you doing? This will be a case of there'll be handshakes all round there from the top five. They all race each other hard, clean, and they all know that the best man on the day won.
Yeah, so let's take you through the finishing results here one more time to show you the way that they wrapped up here in this one. Noel Leon again over Eduardo Barrichello, Aidan Fox, Gianluca Savalio fourth, Ducek fifth, Jorge Ortiz holds off Isaac Canto in the end for sixth, Canto seventh. Then you go back to find Timothy Pernot in eighth, ninth, Manuel Gonzalez, and rounding the top 10, Chris Farino over Sofia Marac, Santiago Ego Aguirre, Brian Garcia, Miguel Parra, and Tim Horrell. There's a look at the scale line there as the handshakes begin, and the celebration can begin for Noel Leon in the Alessandro's Racing CRG. What an awesome shot from overhead here by our man Aaron on top, and Noel Leon there. He'll get a quick knuckle tap right there from the drivers as one of our RTX officials there. Get out of the shot, man. Come on. And that's going to give, again, just an awesome look. So Noel Leon wins out in Senior Max here. You're watching the RTX Rotax Max Challenge Winter Trophy live from Piquet Race Park in Loxahatchee Groves, Florida. Stick with us. 2 main events down, 4 more to come your way.
Why do you come here? Is this your career?
Or is it all about fun? A chance to get away and leave it all behind?
Or do you chase your personal best? Challenging yourself over and over again. Why do you come here?
Maybe you're here to collect moments. Good ones. And not so good ones.
Or you can't afford mistakes because you want that victory. It's all about this one moment when the hard work finally pays off.
This is the place that brings us closer to the people who share our story. Whoever we are,
Whatever we're here for, racing is who we are.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. There is an idea of what the drivers are fighting for. The Rotax Grand Finals, some of that clip that we just seen was filmed at the 2021 Grand Finals in Bahrain. It's Masters time, and it's Antonio Pizzonia and Rubens Barrichello. Pizzonia in kart 617, Barrichello in kart 611. Yes, spectators, that is ex-Formula 1 driver Antonio Pizzonia, and yes, that is ex-Ferrari Formula 1 driver, 11-time Grand Prix winner and World Championship runner-up in 2019, Rubens Barrichello. I have talked about. They share the front row of this grid. The showman Harold Watson on row 2 alongside Diego Rodriguez. Lights are out. We're off and racing in Max Masters. All 16 runners safely through the first corner. It's Pizzonia with the advantage, and that is the showman Harold Watson from Peru up into P2. Now Rubens Barrichello has got to make his move early. There's a couple of slower carts here. Oh, somebody deposited in the barrier. That, I believe, is the number 1606 Tony Kart of Dioniso Espejo. It was. So, Rubens Barrichello has got to make short work here of Harold Watson if he is going to have any chance of catching Antonio Pizzonia Jr. Watson on the red speed kart for the SLA karting team, holding on to P2 through the through the teardrop. Rubens Barrichello's going to size him up through turn 16. Watch for the move now. Watch for the move. Rubens to the inside, makes the move. Watson tries to cut back. Vince Carey's there in fourth. Vince Carey up the inside. Then he has to back out of it. And Carey, the DJ from New York City, is down in fifth position now, fourth position now, with the first of the Alessandros race. That is Rodriguez in fifth position, and Mundi Loya with the white crash helmet. Mundi Loya, the oldest driver here, 57 years old, with the white crash helmet, the green and white race, the green and white Tony Kart bodywork, the white race suit from Peru. Mundi Loya. Loya looks to the inside, and somebody is retired. I can see a cart in the barriers. Can't quite see who that driver is. There's Laurentiu Mardan, the Techno Kart importer for the United States on that Techno Kart chassis from Italy. Well, Laurentiu's from Romania, the car's from Italy. Laurentiu now residing in Chicago, Illinois, as Pizzonia leads the way coming out of turn number 18. Rubens Barrichello now hot on his heels in that red and white Birrell ART chassis. Harold Watson in P3. Here's the battle further back. Loya, the 613 kart of Diego Rodriguez. And behind Rodriguez, Laurentiu Mardan. This is the fight for 5th, 6th and 7th on track you're looking at. They're chasing Vince Carey, who runs in 4th. Behind Mardan In 8th position, it's another one of the Alessandros racing cars. I think it's Lucas Iglesias is next in line. But all eyes on this battle for 5th position. Mundi Loya holding off Lucas Iglesias, and now Iglesias under pressure. Rodriguez under pressure from Laurentiu Mardan. You're not missing anything up at the front. GP racing fans. I'm looking out the window. I can still see the 607, the 605, the 612. At least 4 of the GP racing carts are still running out of the 5, which is good to hear. And here comes Mardan chasing down Diego Rodriguez. Can Mardan make the move into turn number 1? Flat out. Now the next under brake for turn 2. Mardan goes for it. Mardan makes it. And Laurentiu Mardan moves into the top 6. Further up the road, still Pizzonia leads by a comfortable margin from Barrichello. You're not missing anything as you watch Mardan in 6th. Try to pull away from Rodriguez in 7. Behind Rodriguez, I believe is it's possibly Daniel Ramirez, Francesco Barber. You've got Dioniso Espejo further back as well. Then the number 615 Kart of Lucas Iglesias, and he is in front, leading the way in the GP racing inter-team battle, I think, is Viktor Kuzmichov in kart number 603. As Mundi Loya has caught Vince Carey. Here's the battle for the lead. There is the battle. Loya behind Carey into turn number 3. Vince Carey trying to hold on to 4th position. Mundi Loya would like it. Vince Carey has it. Is this going to be a case of irresistible force versus immovable object? Out of turns 11 and 12. Go the battle. Oh, and there's a spin. That is the 609. That is Peru's Daniel Ramirez making him on. Here is the battle of the lead. Game on up at the front. Somebody ring the dinner bell because Rubens Barrichello wants a seat at the table. Pizzonia comes through turn 19 into turn 20 over those 2 bumps just as they turn in. And Barrichello's got him in his wheel tracks. Pizzonia defends. Barrichello looks to the inside, wheel to wheel. Barrichello has to back out of it though. Pizzonia did not want to be denied. Out of turn 3 we head now. We're running lap 5 out of 13. Barrichello on the Birrell ART. Pizzonia on the Zanella Racing Tony kart. They come out of turn number 9 into turn number 10. Oh, Barrichello can almost reach out and tickle Antonio out of the chin. He's so close. Through 11, 12, 13 and 14 now. Next opportunity into the teardrop. Barrichello has a nibble, but Pizzonia holds him off. Now into turn 16, no dice here. Can Rubens look up the inside coming into turn number 17? No is the answer. Turn 18 is risky, and Pizzonia covers the inside line. Barrichello gets a good run through turn number 19. Now this is where a little bit of aero push might come in through turn number 20. Barrichello gets a turn in earlier. Flattens the curb. He's got momentum. Can he look to the inside? Into turn number 2. Pizzonia, though, is late on the brakes. Last of the late breakers is Antonio Pizzonia as they come through turn number 3 again. Oh, this is the type of race you just let them go until they run out of gas. It's, there's obviously, we're concentrating on this. There are other karts in the race. People can understand why we are watching 2 ex-Formula 1 drivers battle for the race win. In the very first, Barrichello makes a mistake at turn 10, misses the apex, and oh, there is, GP karting fans, Logan Flewelling has had some sort of mischief. I think he's done himself a mischief there. The 606 of Espejo is out of the race. But Logan Flewelling getting himself together. Barrichello made a mistake on the previous lap. Now he closes back in. It takes even a driver of Barrichello's caliber time to make up for an error, especially when dealing with a driver of Pizzonia's caliber. out of turn number 2. Oh, black flag being waved for number 601, Mundi Lawyer, and that is because, well, Mundi Lawyer's kart has lost its rear bumper, and he doesn't realise it's lost it, and he's been black flagged. That is a safety issue. He will have to retire. So Vince Carey, who was in 4th place, man would assume that Vince Carey is still in 4th place. He is, with Mardan in 5th. Harold Watson, the showman, runs 3rd, but he is a long way behind these two drivers. Barrichello sizing up Pizzonia, so it's like Barrichello into turn 17, 18 now, out of 19. Are we going to see a move into turn number 2? That is Rubens' next opportunity. He gets a good run. Oh, he drops a wheel. He drops a wheel, and that was a tank slapper at 100 kilometers an hour, ladies and gentlemen. Inches off the ground, and do you know what? Rubens Barrichello kept his foot in it, and he didn't lose too much time at all. Might need a trip to the laundrette, though, after that one. Through the flip-flop section, into turn number 9. Pizzonia is beginning to defend. Rubens' kart is coming out stronger and stronger and stronger as this race progresses. The might of the PSL karting, Biro Art team behind Rubens Barrichello, but it's the Zanella racing team and Antonio Pizzonia holding him off at the moment. There isn't a bum on a seat here at Piquet Raceway Park. It's standing room only. And Barrichello looks to the inside. Wheel to wheel, Barrichello makes the move. Inches to spare. New race leader, Rubens Barrichello. What can Antonio Pizzonia do to fight back? Mano a mano. Oh, now it's Pizzonia's turn to get a wheel on the grass. Barrichello defends. Here comes Antonio. Oh, Antonio. I bet, well, they're not laughing and grinning under this because they're deadly serious about winning this go-kart race. But there is Vince Carey being passed by Lorenzo Mardan. Barrichello leads. Pizzonia into turn number 9. Up the straight towards 10 we go. Breathe. Calm. Have we got, we're on lap 9 out of 13. Time to reset, to cool the tyres, to sort of gird your loins for battle. One more time into the teardrop. Pizzonia understeers a little bit through turn number 15. Maybe the front end starting to give up now a little bit on that Tony kart. He has got to sort of focus. Even drivers, ex-Formula drivers in karts, you have to refocus quickly. Gets a nice tight line through turn number 19. Pizzonia is going to be on a good lap here. He's going to have a good end of this lap. Barrichello leads by 5 kart lengths. Pizzonia tucking down behind the NASA panel, trying to create maximum aerodynamic efficiency. We come out of turn 2 into 3. Pizzonia now closing in. He's going to be using the rear bumper of Rubens Barrichello's car as a target. All Pizzonia is doing now is following that rear bumper, just inching back towards Rubens Barrichello. Rubens has got he's got the apex of each corner to look at, but he's got no marker to focus on apart from the track. Pizzonia has got the rear bumper of Barrichello's kart to work on. Into the turn 15 teardrop again. A little bit of early corner understeer there for Pizzonia, but he does manage to get the power down quite respectably coming out of 16. So he's within 2 kart lengths. We're now on lap 10 out of 13. We're going to get the 2 sticks in the air, 2 to go next time around. Right. 2 laps to go. 40 corners. About 2.5 kilometers of racing for Rubens Barrichello to hold off Antonio Pizzonia out of turn 2 through turn 3. 346 Formula 1 Grand Prix between them. Pizzonia, British Formula 3 champion. Rubens Barrichello, at 50 years old in November or early December, won the Brazilian Stock Car Championship, beating a host of ex-Formula 1, Formula 3000, GP2 drivers as he did so. Pizzonia, who raced in the 2018 Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals in his home country of Brazil, and is now devoting time to his younger son, Antonio Jr.'s burgeoning karting career. We're going to see Antonio Jr. in a couple of races' time, and Antonio Pizzonia Sr. has understeered through the last couple of corners. I think finally, the front end has given up the grip on that Zanella Racing Tony kart, because as the white flag comes out, Barrichello suddenly looks a little bit comfortable, and I don't think Antonio is close enough to make the move. He's given it absolutely everything, but just look at the front end of that Tony kart now. It's beginning to understeer. Every time Antonio turns in, the kart just washes out a little bit. And you can see him on the wheel. He's having to take 2 little bites the cherry every time he turns in. That tells me the front tyres have cried enough. But it has been one heck of a battle. It has been one heck of a race, and on this, the first ever race meeting here at Piquet Raceway Park, there's been lots of racing, there's been lots of superb battling, but the time that 2 ex-Formula 1 drivers put on an absolute clinic will be something that this circuit and the staff here, your work has been worth it, because Rubens Barrichello has won, and he's won in style. And that is one for the memory banks here for the entire team at Piquet Raceway Park. Barrichello beats Pizzonia, and will remember that the third driver on the podium on this very, very memorable day was Harold the Showman Watson from Peru. Further back in the order, we've still got battles going on. Hang on a second. The fight between the Formula 1 drivers is over, and that's what you want to see. And yeah, but it's a fight between the GP racing hobbyists is still going on. Here we go. Who is going to be leading the pack on that long drive back to Toronto for GP karting? It looks like it's number 6, 1, 2. It's Logan Flewelling. And the celebrations for Logan Flewelling are just as much as they were for Rubens Barrichello. What an achievement for Rubens Barrichello, Antonio Pizzonia, and the rest of the Masters field. We've got third for Harold Watson, but ladies and gentlemen, the presentation later on will be a doozy. So is the track there. That is the first 3 main events done and dusted. Now we wait for race number 4, and that will be Minimax. Andrew Clements, I know you're working incredibly hard. The work that the Kart Chaser team does here, ladies and gentlemen, not just on the live stream, and this live stream is being broadcast on a huge jumbotron here at Piquet Raceway Park. You've got a large amount of spectators here lining the barriers, lining the top of the thing. There's a great sign. That's Laurentiu Mardan. Hugs all round for Pizzonia, Mardan, and Barrichello. Sports, there's Vince Carey in the black and blue race suit with Mardan there. They battled well. And the sportsmanship, and look at that. You can, the smile, Rubens' smile is just as wide. It doesn't matter what you're racing. If you're a racer and if you're a champion, the passion never leaves you. And, Antonio Sr. has got about 10 minutes to rest himself, and then he's going to go and watch his son try and win. And that is what's important. There's Harold Watson there in the black race suit. But again, I was saying about the Kart Chaser team here, there's social media posts going on. It's their website. They're making this. Xander Clements and his team are working incredibly hard, not just the commentary, the production things, but to provide as much information as possible to their karting audience. And Xander, you were able to watch and marvel at that race. What an event.
Yeah, I mean, wow, right? How often do you get treated to watching 2 drivers, 2 of the best in the world, go at it here? And again, they're doing it as a hobby. They're doing it because they love it, and that's what, again, makes them so good, is that even in with families, even with their own sons racing, as focused as they are on getting to spend time with their kids, which is part of the joy of them for this weekend, they've always still got that itch in them.
Oh, yes.
Antonio Pizzonia, they want their sons to win. When they see them racing, the bug comes back, and that's the one thing about karting. It doesn't matter if you're 5 years old, you're 50, or even if you're 100. It really is just a drug that just keeps bringing you back because it's just so awesome.
Case in point, this time last year, Antonio Pizzonia Jr. was getting ready to make his very first kart start. And I turned up at the Panic at Orlando Kart Centre and I saw Antonio Jr. on the list. And his dad was there helping, get the kart there. And Tito and Elio were looking after the guys for the National Motorsport team. And I said to Antonio, good to see you again. He's like, I know, it's all about my son now. And it's like so good. And then Antonio Jr. was going out in practice. And then the next thing you know, there's a Gillard chassis sort of being unwrapped in the paddock, and I looked up there, and it's Tito and Elio, and they were the guys that were looking after Antonio Jr. You know why? There's a senior car there, and again Antonio Senior's watching Antonio Jr. go round, and Antonio's doing a really good job. And the next thing you know, a new name pops up on the entry list. Oh lo and behold, it's Antonio Senior. You cannot bring them to a kart circuit and either think, no, I'm not racing. It's all about my sons. The next thing you know, they popped an entry in because the itch never leaves them. Speaking of itches, let's scratch the itch that is Minimax. The main event coming up right about now. We'll go through the grid. Here we go then. 3 races to go, Xander Clements, and we have got this is your starting lineup in Minimax. Pole position, driving kart 106. That is Alexis Baerjon from Quebec on the CL, the Charles Leclerc chassis for the Blast Force Racing Team. Alongside Alexis, it's Kai Johnson, who finished 3rd yesterday. On the inside of row number 2, number 119, yesterday's 6th place finisher David Zhao, and the number 115 car of Antoine Lemieux, yesterday's race final winner. Then it is Luke Conjanapatak, a great 5th place effort, and in 6th position, Edward Kennedy. Watch for number 113, the number 114, Luis Thomas Pelletier is up next, followed by the 107 of Matisse Brunetti and the number 105 of Yago Lempen from Peru. Then it's number 118, Iso Teng from Chinese Taipei, the island of Taiwan, followed by Maddox Ruiz. Then the number 109 of Alex Miller. The rest of the field is going to be Max Mukaram, the number 104 of Bashi Jimenez, the 108 of Megan Espejo, and then at the back of the field, the 110 of Luis Cifres, if he's there, and the 103 of Remy Guzman. Hopefully we've got a full complement of 17 drivers. Quick head count at the back there. Do you know what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. I think that the 2 drivers, Luis Cifres and Remy Guzman, who didn't go out for the last race, or Bashi Jimenez rather, may not be out there once again. 11 laps in Minimax. It's going to be Baerjon leading them to the line. We are green in Minimax. Now, down towards turn number 1, they're 3 wide. It's a good start from Baerjon. It's an even better start, though, from Kai Johnson. Out of the back of the pack, another collision. We had a crash the first corner of at the first lap of Minimax final yesterday. It was Iso Tseng from Chinese Taipei involved in that one. But Xander Clements, Alexis Baerjon was snookered at the start. The new leader is Kaiman Johnson.
Kai Johnson here looking to go once again to the forefront of this Minimax field. A podium run yesterday came up a little bit shy. Antoine Lemieux was dominant now here today. Kaiman leads them through the Piquet teardrop. Only 11 laps in the main event. A good bit shorter, 6 laps shorter for these micros here today compared to that 17-lap enduro they had yesterday afternoon. Kaiman leads in this battle back behind. Look at this going into the 17-18 complex behind your leaders. There goes 5, 6, 7 on through. Edward Kennedy, I believe, was the one making a pass aboard that National Motorsports Energy or trying to get by. Let's give you the updated lineup here as they come across the line. 1 lap complete, 10 to go. It is Johnson over by Baerjon. David Zhao fell back to 4th behind Antoine Lemieux. In 5th is Luke Kanganapatak. Then it is Iago Lempin in 6th. Maddox Ruiz is 7th. Matisse Brunetti is 8th. Indeed Kennedy in the 9th spot. And then all the way back to around the top 10 is Alex Miller here as the field cycles through turn number 4. 1 lap down, 10 to go. Kaiman pulling away here as Baillargeon's going to have company. Here comes Antoine Lemieux, Henry. He's all over the bumper as they go down the S's towards turns 13 and 14.
Baillargeon finished second in yesterday's final. He's running second now, but he's running second by a thread. But behind him, here comes David Zhao up the inside of Lemieux. That will give Alexis Baillargeon a little bit of breathing room as Zhao moves into P3 on that nitro chassis for the Goodwood Kartways racing team. Lemieux is next in line, that white crash helmet, the black Premier Karting livery. Then it is the Praga car of Luke Kanganapatak. We don't do a driver of the day award here, but Luke Kanganapatak, the difference between him yesterday and today is absolutely night and day. He is driving the best I've ever seen him drive. Is Luke Kanganapatak. Oh my word, David Zhao up the inside of turn number 1. Baillargeon was closing the door and Zhao somehow made it through without having the mother and father of all accidents.
Oh my goodness, David Zhao, glad he thought better about that one there. Boys and girls, it's still only lap number 3. We've got a lot of time still left in this 11-lap main event around a track that's a minute and some change for the lap times here. Plenty of time to make your move. No need to throw the race away on a maybe overzealous attempt now. Now on the final lap, sure, go for it. But lap 3, good job, good thinking, heads up driving by David Zhao to think about that, back out of it and say, you know what, I can get around you in a smarter place. But again, the reason he's being so impatient or looking for a way by on Alexis Baillargeon is because Kaiman is pulling away. On the opening couple laps, he got a second out in front over Alexis Baillargeon. What a jump for Kaiman and that PSA race team Benek. It could be a huge points haul here for him. 3rd yesterday, a potential win today, 3 complete. What's the gap now? It's a 106.85 for Kaiman, a 106.70 for Baillargeon as they pass for 3rd. Lemieux goes by David Zhao. It's 1.5 seconds from P1 to P2.
You know, all weekend, Xander, we've talked about the fact that Kai Johnson has not had the fastest kart. And that has been true in nearly every single race. He's not had the fastest kart in every single race. And even though he's been up the front, he's been battling, he's had good results, he's had not so good results, he has waited until the very last race. Now we can say Kai Johnson has the fastest kart. Oh, there's number 114 kart. That's Louis Thomas Pelletier, the Charles Leclerc chassis from Maribel in Canada, 9 years old and out of the race. And I believe that is the first retirement. Yes, we had 15 karts out. We didn't have Bashi Jimenez start. We didn't have Luis Cifres start. And now we've got 14 karts still running with Louis Thomas Pelletier out of the race.
So down the front stretch now here with 4 laps complete. Kai Johnson, big lead. Here comes Antoine Lemieux. All over Alexis Baillargeon. Lemieux that time was 0.4 better than the race leader, Kai Johnson. Granted, Baillargeon was 2.5 better as well. So for a moment, while Kai Johnson did get a big lead, did look like he might be the one to pull away, and he was quicker on cold tires. 2nd and 3rd are hunting him down here, and they've got the time to do it, as we've only got 4 laps complete again in this one, which means we've got 7 laps still to go. As they go down the hill, you can see the gap is shrinking from the blue, orange, and white Team Benek entry of Kai Johnson back here to 2nd and 3rd of Alexis Baillargeon and Antoine Lemieux. And David Zhao, he's actually lost a little touch with them. He was a little bit slower than the top 3. He's got Luke Kanganapatak closing in, and Iago Lempin, who we haven't talked about a whole lot here in this main event, but the Parolin driver also. Big time step up here today, Henry. Iago Lempin has been impressive here in the second half of this weekend.
Yeah, he's the 2022 Peruvian National Minimax champion. He qualified for the Grand Finals, didn't make the final, finished down in 70th position in the Grand Finals last year, but still, to win your national title, you've got to be good. The cross flags are in the air. We're on lap 6 out of 11, and Johnson's lead is beginning to come down ever so slightly. It's down to 0.8. Gotta say, Lemieux, oh, Lemieux thought about a move up the inside of Baillargeon, gave Baillargeon just a little peck on the rear end there. Just a quick pick-me-up there for Baillargeon as they chase Kai Johnson. Well, Kai Johnson had the fastest kart in the race in the first half of this final. Does he have the fastest kart in the race in the second half? The timing screens would beg to differ with that hypothesis, because the rest of the field are the rest of the leaders are closing in, because it's not just Barrichello and Lemieux closing in. Out of the picture is not David Zhao and Luke Konjanapitak.
So through the final corner here, Kai Johnson will take them onto the front straight away, all the way back there to David Zhao, who has picked the pace back up. Where does he land this time on the lap times? Johnson, a 106.7. Even back to Barrichello and Antoine Lemieux. A little quicker for David Zhao at a 106.6. And a 106.6 as well for Luke Konjanapitak, but he dropped a tire out of turn number 2, lost some time. All together, though, they're tightening up at the front of the field. As of last time, it was only 0.8 to Kai Johnson. I'd beg that it's at least probably to 0.6 here, half a lap later. As you can see, he's into frame. Alexis Barrichello, Antoine Lemieux are going to make this race really interesting here with just 5 laps to go. It is anyone's guess who could win in Minimax. My goodness, we've got 5, arguably 6 drivers with a legitimate shot. And don't count out Edward Kennedy, who's a ways back. But Edward Kennedy just went 7/10 better than the race leader last time by.
You were talking about gaps there, Xander, and the gap that I'm interested in is the 1.89 second gap that separates race leader Kai Johnson from 5th place Luke Konjanapitak. Although, as I say, that Konjanapitak gets it all crossed up coming out of the final corner. And let's have a look. This, you can see the gap closing. 106.9 for Johnson, 106.5 for Barrichello, 106.6 for Lemieux, and 106.4 for David Zhao.
And again, another 106.6 there for Edward Kennedy. He'll knock that gap down as well. That's your pole award winner in qualifying back in the 7th spot. While up front here, look at it. It's down to 3 to 4 car lengths from Kai Johnson back to Alexis Barrichello and Antoine Lemieux. Lemieux's been a loyal soldier to Barrichello. Does he dump him? Does he go right as they arrive to Kai Johnson? Or does he push him to the lead and then battle for the top spot? This time by, he'll be, again, the timer put on his decision-making process, because it'll be 3 to go. And here it is. Oh, he almost got there as our camera was a little bit too zoomed in turn number 16 and 17, but he went down the inside and just could not make it stick for second. And now it cost them a little bit of valuable time towards Kai Johnson. Just 3 more laps around for the St. Petersburg native, Mooresville, North Carolina-based driver. 4 in the lead group. Johnson over the rest.
In defense of the cameraman, as the tension was being ratcheted up, I think the camera thought, you know what, I want to see the whites of their eyes. And we almost did, apart from the fact they all got iridium visors on. So you can't see their eyes at all. But this is getting, I mean, if you thought that the Masters final was the main course, well, it turns out it was just the appetizer. The Minimax drivers are serving up the entree here. 8 laps down, 3 to go, and the gap is now, well, between the top 4 is less than 1 second. 9/10 of a second separate the top 4, though David Zhao on this lap is humming. And there is the 103 kart of Remy Guzman and the 112 of Maddox Ruiz. They have come to grief. Both drivers absolutely fine and gesticulating to one another. It's now a 3-kart race. Zhao and Konjanapitak have just faded. 2 sticks in the air, 2 to go. Barrichello starts to defend, and here comes Lemieux. Lemieux's got to go. Barrichello goes round the outside, and this is going to give Kai Johnson an assailable lead.
Oh, man, we got problems from one other driver, one of the comp carts there. That is the 120 machine of Max McCarrum with a dislodged rear exhaust. In any case, though, like you said, I think Alexis Barrichello had a shot at catching Kai Johnson. Maybe he didn't believe in himself, and he felt more like Antoine Lemieux wouldn't believe in him either. But now, by defending for second, Kai Johnson, having turned the wick up here in the last few laps, at the same time here with them battling for second, should be safe. That lead is over a second. The battle will now be for the 2nd spot and 3rd spot on the podium as David Zhao finds himself back in the podium picture once again. The white flag will fly this time. It's Barrichello over Lemieux and Zhao for P2, P3, and P4.
Out of turn number 19, which Quebec native will finish second? Will it be Barrichello or Lemieux. Canada run 2, 3, and 4. Konjanapatak is 5th. Lempen 6th. Kennedy 7th. Brunetti, Miller, and Seng. But it's Barrichello through turns 3 and 4. Kai Johnson, let's not forget Kai Johnson, second in last year's Minimax Winter Cup. Here comes Lemieux to the inside, and Barrichello left half a gap, but it wasn't enough for Lemieux to fill it with his go-kart. But it's Kai Johnson, let's not forget, second in last year's Minimax Championship. He took the ticket from Salvador de la Vecchia when de la Vecchia couldn't go to the Grand Finals, and he finished 29th in the final out of 72 in Minimax after running in the top 15 most of the week. He is going to win this race. Who's going to be second? Here comes Lemieux.
What a move down the inside at 17. Still side by side to 18. Here comes David Zhao. He'll get to third as around the final turn. Kai Johnson and the PSA race team Benek will win round 2 in Minimax. And across the line, second to Antoine Lemieux. Third to David Zhao. Alexis Barrichello in a matter of 2 turns trying to fight for that final spot on the podium. Falls down to 4th. Luke Konjanapatak inside the top 5 today, right at the edge of that battle. But Kaiman is pumped up in the 116 PSA race team Benek. You could see the sigh of relief there as he looked to the sky for a moment. Kai Johnson is your winner in Minimax here today.
And again, lots of reasons to celebrate there, but down in front of us, the Zinid Racing team, Tan Konjanapatak, Luke's father, being congratulated by Maddox Ruiz's granddad, by Dylan Dana from the Zinid Racing team, by Josh Sankabasan, one of the other team drivers there. They are very, very pleased with that top 5 result. That's the best result in the direct drive classes for one of the Praga chassis. And, well, it's the Minimax Championship, Xander, is bubbling up nicely. So you've got a win and a 3rd place for Kai Johnson, a win and a 2nd place for Antoine Lemieux, a 2nd and a 4th for Alexis Barrichello, and for David Zhao, a 6th and a 3rd. Luke Konjanapatak, a top 5 today, didn't finish yesterday, but his dad is very, very happy indeed. But again, it's those 4 drivers. They've all managed to get 2 really strong results back to back. And I got to say, in Minimax, Orlando is going to be an absolute treat.
Well, let's go to the rest of the Minimax field here to give them some love down the rest of the grid that crossed the line. 6th to Iago Lempen. Edward Kennedy, your top qualifier today, finishes in 7th. He also holds the honor of the fastest single lap time in the session. Matisse Brunetti down in the 8th position. Alex Miller and Isot Seng will round the top 10. Megan Espejo finishes 11th. 12th to Luis Thomas Pelletier, who, of course, had that spin and was able to get back going, at least completed all the laps, got points. Max McCarron, Maddox Ruiz, Remy Guzman, DNFs there 13th, 14th, and 15th. Another break here to show you some of the awesome Rotax karting commercials we have on deck here and what Rotax karting is all about. We will send here in just a moment. While in the meantime, once again, 2 main events to come your way. Micromax on deck, DD2 Max set to go right after. Don't go anywhere. Stick with us. If you're watching here in the paddock at Piquet Race Park and Entertainment Complex in Loxahatchee, Florida, or from anywhere live around the world on Kart Chaser, we'll be right back.
Why do you come here? Is this your career?
Or is it all about fun? A chance to get away and leave it all behind?
Or do you chase your personal best? Challenging yourself over and over again. Why do you come here?
Maybe you're here to collect moments. Good ones. And not so good ones.
Or you can't afford mistakes because you want that victory. It's all about this one moment when the hard work finally pays off.
This is the place that brings us closer to the people who share our story. Whoever we are,
Whatever we're here for, racing is who we are.
Welcome back here to Piquet Race Park, and we are set for action for two more main events here. As the field works its way out onto the circuit, the Micromax drivers will begin to get things going.
And I have to say that I was watching Melville dos Santos was slow to get. Oh, what's happened there?
No, is that Matisse Lacroix?
It is Matisse Lacroix out. Oh, and he's, well, in the cart. The marshal can help maybe get Matisse there. Is the cart broken? I was about to say Melville dos Santos was slow to get away off the grid. And what I did like to see is that it wasn't just Melville's mechanic. There were two or three others helping to get that cart started. Goes back to what you were saying earlier, Xander, about everyone in the Rotax family helping. They want to get all the drivers on circuit. Let's have a look at Matisse Lacroix back in the race. That is good. Great news. It's going to be Antonio Pizzonia Jr. starting this one from pole position in the number 15 cart, alongside Antonio on the grid, the number 6 of Julian Rivera. Battle has been rejoined. 11 laps on row number 2. It's going to be the 8 of Sebastian Piemonte, the 17th of Dominic Vieira. What has gone on there? Now, that was interesting. Julian Rivera had decided he absolutely did not want to take the start that time around. And they're going to go around again, but they are going to be eating into their own laps here, Xander. That was the strangest false start I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think they're trying to help out Matisse Lacroix here this time. As you can see, he's slowly parading around the final turn, so they're going to hurt it. And hopefully, I think they'll give him just this one lap, and then we'll go. But again, in any case, it does count against the drivers here, so they've got to be wary about, whether or not they give him another one. I don't know if they'll give him. Maybe they'll wave him through one of the cut-throughs. They're trying to slow down Antonio Pizzonia Jr. There you can see the difference. Pizzonia Jr. and the field are in turn 15. Matisse Lacroix is all the way back in turn number 4. So he's got a long way to go forward here to try and catch the field. But I think there they go. Now they'll get them slowly to a crawl. I think Pizzonia Jr. saw him that time and realized that was why they aborted the start on lap number 1.
So we've got Rivera and Antonio Pizzonia Jr. on the front row. Pizzonia Jr., the pole man, Rivera on the outside of row number 1. On row 2, the number 8 of Sebastian Piemonte, yesterday's race winner, and the number 7 of Dominic Vieira, youngest driver here, just 7 years old. On row number 3, we have the number 12 of Melville Dos Santos and the number 5 of Maxwell Matcha. Then on the 4th row, the number 10 of Blaise Diniz and the number 11, the other 7-year-old driver in this race, Aidan Keeshan. Matisse Lacroix is going to catch them right at the back in the Bill ART.
Nice work, Antonio Pizzonia Jr. Great job.
Yep, indeed. So for the penultimate time here at Piquet Race and Entertainment Centre, it is Nelson in the middle, drivers at the tram lines, green flag waiting.
Perfect start there for the micro field, and they've got it. Green flag in the air, and Julian Rivera loses out big time here as the field works its way towards turn number 1 and 2. It is going to be all Piemonte into second safely there. Yep. Rivera back to third.
That's a significant start for Pizzonia. Now Rivera making short work of yesterday's winner, Piemonte. He moves to the second place of a turn number 4. Had to do it then. He had to do it. Now Piemonte and Maxwell Matcha need to work and just stay as close to Rivera as possible. That's what they've got to do. Now, further back, I'm looking at Lacroix's made a good start, and the 2 Praga karts of Blaise Diniz and Aidan Keeshan at the back of the field, but the drivers that both needed to practice their overtaking skills. They've got their opportunity now. They're going to be battling for 7th, 8th, and 9th. The top 6 are trying to break clear. There's Pizzonia, Rivera, Piemonte, a gap to Matcha, Vera, and Melville Dos Santos. Melville Dos Santos, 8 years old, from Brampton in Canada on the VSR Tony kart.
Through turn number 1 here, Julian Rivera, remember in heat number 2, he had to start dead last, got all the way up to the back bumper of Antonio Pizzonia Jr. in just 6 laps. He's already there here now with 2 laps complete in the 11-lap main event for the Micromaxes. So plenty of time for him to work his way forward, and I believe we're working on 2 laps complete here this time, but we'll confirm that on the timing monitor in a moment. I don't know if they counted that pace lap against the field or not, but in any case, they're exiting turn number 11, and Julian Rivera's got plenty of time to find a way around Antonio Pizzonia Jr. You mentioned Piemonte, the winner yesterday. Well, he's in the catbird seat again because it did end in tears for Antonio Pizzonia Jr., of course, and Julian Rivera. So hopefully today this battle stays clean, but you never know. They are throwing everything they've got at it, and both of them coming into today are winless from yesterday, as there he goes. Julian Rivera to the lead.
As I say, there was the first real look over the shoulder from Antonio Pizzonia Jr. going up towards the team. They're all checking over their shoulder. Piemonte, though, looks strong in this race. And here comes Sebastian Piemonte. Pizzonia Jr. having to defend through turn number 1. Down towards turn 2. Now, as we watch these 3 leaders, will Pizzonia Jr. go again? No. This is really good slipstreaming style of racing. Matcha runs 4th. Vera is 5th. Dos Santos is 6th. Blaise Diniz has passed. Well, Blaise Diniz was 9th. He's passed Aidan Keeshan and he's passed Matisse Lacroix. So Lacroix made a really good start and was up into 7th. Now down to 8th, and Aidan Keeshan has got his task today was to get in the 1-minute 11s in a race and to make a pass. He was good at following, and Aidan Keeshan, he did the 1-minute 11. There he is, the third kart on your screen, that Praga chassis with the white crash helmet. Now he's done one of the 2 things that he needed to do today. He's got into 1-minute 11s. Now he's going to make the overtake. Can he do it? That battle will take place a long way back. We'll keep you updated as the race progresses. But up at the front, that's where our focus should and quite rightly is going to be, because it's Rivera, it is Pizzonia Jr., and it's Piemonte. It is Argentina. It is the Colombian driver, Bogota's Sebastian Piemonte, chasing Quito, Ecuador, Julian Rivera, and Manaus, Brazil's Antonio Pizzonia Jr.
Yeah, so now as they go towards turn at number 10 here, Antonio Pizzonia Jr., where does that gap stay over the course of the next few laps? The last lap, with the way the pass and the way everything shook out, he was 2/10 slower than Julian Rivera. This time, the gap looks to be about the same. I'll give Antonio Pizzonia Jr. credit. He's not really letting Rivera get too far away, but again, we're only with 3 laps complete so far, working towards lap number 4. I mean, there's still a long way to go. If Rivera inches at a tenth a lap better, that gap will still be by 2 seconds towards the end of the race.
And this is bad news for Sebastian Piemonte. Piemonte needs Rivera and Pizzonia to do what they did yesterday, to slow each other down. Because if they slow each other down, they trip over each other, and that will keep Piemonte in with a chance. It's a long, lonely race for Maxwell Matcha in 4th place. Melville Dos Santos holds on to 5th by a whisker from Dominic Vera in 6th. And then there's a huge gap back to Blaise Diniz in 7th position, all on his own in kart number 10. And Mathis Lacroix with Aidan Kishan right behind him. Kishan was almost alongside Mathis Lacroix there, but didn't quite get the move done. Here are your leaders on a turn number 15. And it's Rivera still leading by half a second from Pizzonia Jr.
Yeah, no real change in the gap. That time by, they were about a half-tenth difference there. Pizzonia Jr., the ladder at a 2.7 to Julian Rivera's 2.2. Now let's see what they do here this time. 5 laps complete. They have just about dropped Sebastian Piemonte here. Halfway in, halfway home. 5 down, 6 laps to go here in the Micromax main event. What do the laps look like across the line? Another half-tenth advantage for Julian Rivera. So there is your fight for 1st and 2nd. There's 3rd. Here's a fight further back.
Oh, good
battle there between Melville Dos Santos and Dominic Vera. Vera goes by on the Paralin to crack the top 5.
And you know what? Those two aren't a million miles away from the driver escaping there just to the left of your camera shot, Maxwell Matcha. Maxwell predicted confidently he was going to win, but at the moment it's 4th place. It's halfway distance goes out as we look at that battle, and once again, Aidan Kishan going through turn number 1 side by side. Mathis Lacroix, well, fair play, Mathis Lacroix, he's learning how to defend. Aidan Kishan is learning how to attack. Mathis Lacroix is learning how to defend. They are several seconds off the pace they can do, but they're having a good race between themselves, and that's important. A good race. They're racing each other. It doesn't matter if you're first or last. If you've got one of the drivers to race against, Xander, that's going to help you sharpen your racecraft.
And that's what they come all the way here for. That's what we're here at the RMC Winter Trophy for. You got this battle for 1st and 2nd, and we'll take the camera all the way through the field. There is 3rd, Sebastian Piemonte. There is 4th, Max Dalmacha. Here's that fight for 5th again. Melville Dos Santos going to give it back to Dominic Vera. He'll get through. Nice move there in turn number 2. So this is 5th and 6th on your screen. You go back a little bit further to find Blaise Diniz in the number 10 machine, and behind him, of course, Mathis Lacroix and Aidan Kishan. So here is Blaise Diniz aboard the Praga in 7th. He's running kind of in no man's land, unfortunately. No one to play with right now, but he's safely ahead of this battle here for 8th and 9th. Oh, we just switched away from it there. There it is into turn number 2 between Aidan Kishan and Mathis Lacroix. So that is, again, you can see Kishan's just looking to get by, just can't find a way around him there.
And please don't think they were favouring Aidan Kishan over Mathis Lacroix. It's just that Aidan's parents were saying, no, come on, Aidan, you've got to try and make a pass. You're really good at following. Let's try and make a pass. And that's what he's trying to do. Mathis Lacroix, you've got to learn how to defend, Mathis. It's a very, very good skill there. So again, these two are the younger drivers here. Mathis Lacroix, 9 years old. Aidan Kishan is 7. Let's give them some airtime. The Burwell ART. Now what can Aidan do? Can he get one up the inside going into the teardrop? No, because Mathis Lacroix very sensibly defending his inside line. And now here comes Aidan. Here we go. Is it now? Oh no, Mathis defends again. Well, Aidan is trying his absolute heart out, and Mathis is doing a great job of defending. The white crash helmet of Mathis Lacroix, with the red neck brace. Then you got the red race suit, the black neck brace, the white crash helmet, the Praga kart of Kishan. Here we go.
Look at that. He had 2 looks back into the corner to turn 20, Lacroix. And there's another one down the front straightaway. And another look back. 4 look backs over the shoulder. He is fully focused on trying to hang on to that 8th spot and keep Aidan Kishan behind him here. Great battle at the back end of the grid, just inside the top 9, of course. Now, back up front, let's pick up our leaders. Where are they? We'll take a moment to find where we are, and there they are. So the gap is opened up for Julian Rivera back to Antonio Pizzonia Jr. Of course, yesterday, again, couldn't have ended in more tears than it did. Today, however, a much more strung-out chess match between the pair. They've traded quick lap times. That time by, though, again, Rivera just a little bit better than Antonio Pizzonia Jr. He pulled a 10.5 away from Pizzonia Jr. in second, and as they go through turns 10 and 11 here at the top of the hill, they'll come down the S's. This time by, Julian Rivera will put 9 laps complete. He will see 2 laps to go, and after ending yesterday with a penalty that put him down to the end of the grid, he is looking to rebound here and get maximum points in today's main events after having to, again, come from the back in both heat races. So it's been a lot of working his way through the field, and in the course of yesterday, again, going back to it, back to front, and now he will end the weekend potentially on a high. He's just got to hang on for 2 more laps here, Henry. What a story it'd be for the Ecuadorian, who, again, with a broken arm, missed out on the Rotax World Finals last year. He is well on his way right now to try and collecting enough points to get himself a ticket to go there in 2023.
So many storylines have developed across every class. In Micromax, the storyline has been both Julian Rivera and Antonio Pizzonia Jr. overcoming adversity, misfortune. Sebastian Piemonte, again, the same. Disqualified from qualifying yesterday for Piemonte, had to fight all the way back in the heats, got himself into position, inherited the win. But you've got to inherit a win is a win nonetheless. Rivera and Pizzonia, friends off track, got close and clashed in the last couple of corners of the final. Still friends on track. And then Rivera this morning having to overcome adversity. He got excluded from qualifying. Pizzonia rebounding from that disappointment yesterday to win both heat races. And don't forget, these are the youngest drivers here. They've all overcoming adversity, digging deep. Blue flags waving because the battle between Lacroix and Kishan is about to be lapped. And I have to say, again, well done to the circuit staff. We got more blue flags today than we had yesterday. Here comes Rivera coming up to lap Aiden Kishan. Where is the next blue flag? I don't think Aiden has seen the race leader bearing down on him. He needs to move out of the way.
Oh no, here comes Pizzonia. Oh my goodness, this race has just opened up Pizzonia to the lead. They'll cross over, Rivera back by, but holy moly, here on the half final lap, can you believe it? Rivera, and they've still got to get by Matisse Lacroix, the master of defense.
Okay, Lacroix into the teardrop, and Rivera's going to look to the inside. He does look to the inside. Oh, Lacroix nearly comes across on Pizzonia. It's game on once again. The white flag is waving, and the checker flag is going to be up next. They make it through turn 17, wheel to wheel. Pizzonia and Rivera inched apart. Checkered flag awaits. Rivera, I think, is going to hang on. Is he? Is he? Does he? Yes, he does.
Wow, Julian Rivera wins and survives one of the most crazy final laps here. Just when you think it won't get wild, it does. Look at this still. Battles all the way to the end. Dominic Vera, Melville Dos Santos. This is for the final spot in the top 5 as Maxwell Macha's up for 4th. Across the line, Vera gets it on the final lap away from Dos Santos. They traded that 5th spot probably a dozen times here in this main event, and it ends with Vera on top. A great fight for 5th. Again, 7th will go to Blaise Diniz, and oh my goodness, Julian Rivera, he probably thought with 2 laps to go, I'm safe. Oh my goodness, lap traffic, oh no, and then all of a sudden back to 2nd with just 10 corners to go, and he pulls it back out. He doesn't get his wits about. He doesn't freak out like we do here in the booth. He keeps his head on.
Exactly. Now, he was signaling there to Aiden Kishan, but I have to say this. As they went through turns 4, 5, and 6 on that last lap, as they came in, the marshal, I think the marshal grabbed the wrong flag and waved a red flag at Aiden Kishan, which I think distracted him. He went for the blue flag, picked up the red flag and waved it. That was what distracted Aiden Kishan a little bit. So Julian Rivera will obviously be a little bit upset at Aiden Kishan, but Aiden Kishan suddenly driving along and sees a red flag. That causes him to back out immediately, correctly so, because we see a red flag. He does that, and he didn't realise the top 2 right behind him. But, however, The result remained the same as it would have done. Rivera wins, Pizzonia second. On the balance, there's Sander Clements, the right result. But Aidan Kishan finishing in 9th place there. Matisse Lacroix 8th. And we wait to see if we get some reactions. We've got one race to go. And there we see. There is Esteban from the Artex karting group there having a look at. He's checking that. So he's looking at the nose cones. So again, if the nose cone bracket has dropped, that's a 5-second penalty, unappealable. There are the eyes of Ecuador's Julian Rivera, and behind him the number 7 of Dominic Vera getting out. Now this I love this. Look at that. Rivera and Dos Santos, they don't know each other. One's from Canada, one's from, they've never met each other before, but they're fist pumps there. Great battle.
Awesome.
Great battle. And there's Lacroix and Kishan looking at each other. Oh, I think I think
maybe a little more of a rivalry brewing there instead of it, but
maybe not quite such a warm reception between. But again, Lacroix defending really well. Kishan trying to attack, and there's Maxwell Matcha just taking up his helmet, the number 5 driver, and I think now, of course, there's the official there. There's Matthias, the official. But as that happens, we look ahead to the final race of the day, the final race of the weekend, the final race of the 2023 Rotax Winter Tour at the first stop on the calendar at Piquet Raceway Park. Have we saved the best for last? We only have 5 karts in this one. Yesterday, those 5 drivers put on one heck of a show. It was in the early evening. We're under the bright sunshine here this afternoon, so we're not going to see sparks flying. Quite literally, will we see sparks flying figuratively?
Well, we're about to find out here, Henry. My goodness, was there are a lot of storylines in yesterday's main event. Matthew Taskinen going out late in the going. Initially, he looked like he was going to be the one to challenge fellow Canadian up front in Gianluca Savalio. It ended up being Jonathan Marcuson, the Australian aboard that bright blue and silver Praga machine. Now he lines up on the outside of Savalio for the first time here this weekend. Taskinen gets to roll off on the inside of row 2. Manuel Ochoa has struggled a little bit physically to hang on here through the entire week. He was close, though, in the first heat race. And Colin Livington having a good time there, looking for the 105s and giving a wave to the crowd as happy hour is about to get underway. But first, it's DD2 Max racing. We're green down to turn number 1. And look at the start for Matthew Taskinen. He'll take advantage of the inside lane, go into second. And Matthew Taskinen also had that issue in Heat 1 is look at Ochoa trying to get by on Marcuson, and he does. And he gets it into gear, and Livington pulls alongside, and I think he's going to let the young boys get after it. I was
going to say Colin Livington looking at 4th place, almost on a nosebleed during the altitude of being so high up in the order.
Man.
Then he backs out of it. Don't worry, Colin Livington, he'll be signing autographs in the paddock later on. The 49-year-old, he is, joking aside, he is lapping, he's 105s, he's 3 seconds off the pace, he's 50 pounds over the weight limit. You translate that. He's carrying an extra 50 pounds and still only 3 seconds off the pace. That is impressive. He is also a little bit more senior in terms of he's had more birthdays. He's had more birthdays than the rest of the field put together.
Yeah, no, see, he should be, right, in the head of the DD2 Masters class. And I know that he will be championing probably the return of a DD2 Masters group here. But hey, kudos to Colin for entering and racing anyway in DD2 Senior.
Absolutely. So, game on the P3. Jonathan Marcuson has got to make short work of Manuel Ochoa. Ochoa is doing too classy, so is Savalio. But Savalio, 18 years old, far more experienced. Ochoa, 15 years old, is struggling, saying he can hardly breathe. His ribs are giving him a lot of pain. And every time when I raced, I've driven with cracked ribs. It is not fun. Every single bump, every single curb is like somebody literally putting a blade into the side of your body. Manuel Ochoa will be in agony. He's got the rib protector on. He's going to have to give best to Marcuson at some point. But though, to be fair to him, he's got to defend. He's got every right to defend. Marcuson has got to try and fight his way through. Now he's up the inside. Now he gets the job done. Manuel Ochoa has fought valiantly. But Marcuson, now what is the damage? The damage is that Marcuson finds himself, 3.5 seconds behind Gianluca Savalio, maybe even more. we complete lap number 2, a 103.2 for Savalio, 103.3 for Taskinen, 103.9. Yeah, it's 2 seconds the gap between Markussen and the race leader, Gianluca Savalio, with the small matter of the number 704 CRG Racing Kart of Edmonton, Alberta's Matthew Taskinen between him and the race leader.
Yeah, so now here, Taskinen, I thought he would have had a much bigger gap back to Markussen, but even with Markussen struggling to get around Manuel Ochoa in the opening circuits, he's really had no issue hunting back down Matthew Taskinen. Now, it's unfortunate that Jonathan Markussen didn't get a better start because, I mean, his pace is pretty good. It might be good enough at this rate to run down Gianluca Savalio, and we could be setting up for a very similar tale to what we saw yesterday. Here he is on the bumper of Taskinen into turn number 20 here. He'll have 13 more laps to find a way around him. Big run, looking inside, turn 1, first second. Jonathan Markussen moves forward, and whoa, Taskinen got way wide in the marbles. He lost a lot of time, nearly put it in the outside retaining wall.
That Praga kart, driven by Jonathan Markussen, has some serious waft. He's had a Tinea Castlemaine 4X. He's pulled up his sleeves, and he is about to go to war. 102.3 against 102.9. Markussen is an Aussie on a mission. Don't mention the cricket, but could Markussen be about to claim some ashes in the form of the remaining kart in front of him, Gianluca Savalio?
Well, again, we talked about stamina, right? Gianluca Savalio, even though he's 18, even though he's done 2 classes before and he's got the experience, it's still a long weekend. The last 10 laps of the weekend, last 12 laps of the weekend here on a very physical racetrack in 2 of the highest horsepower, highest speed classes in all of the karting spectrum, DD2 Max and Senior Max. Across the line, where do the lap times go this time? We look to the boards. Only 1/10 better for Jonathan Markussen, but he is also only 1.4 seconds away. If he can keep that pace up, we are going to have a fight on our hands for the lead and the win here in the final stages, as we've got 4 down, 11 to go, and a 1.4 second lead. He just needs a little bit more than 1/10 per lap. At the rate he's going, he should just about get there to fight for the win.
Well, Savalio just put in his personal best lap of the race. Now, somewhere down on the entrance of the start-finish straight, at the exit of turn number 14, Gianluca Savalio's mechanic is signaling to him how to go. Every kart mechanic's got hand signals. Push harder, stay in line, go, go, go. The gap's growing, the gap's shrinking, everything like that. You can imagine, do you know that Savalio's mechanic is down on the lower deck there, pointing there? What are we going to see as they come out of this corner, just to the right of where you are looking at now? Savalio's mechanic is watching, but you just caught a glimpse of him. So he's signaling to Gianluca. Jono Markets' dad is watching from the top there. He's thinking, do you know what, Jono? You are on your own, son. You know what to do. And he's having a watch with there's Markussen. So Markussen doesn't need the signals that Gianluca does, because he can see the gap in front of him. Taskinen behind Markussen, not really a factor, it has to be said. Last time around, Jonathan Markussen, 102.36, new fastest lap of the race. The gap is now 1.2 seconds. But of course, because these cars have got front brakes, you can lunge. Well, to quote Jono's fellow Australian Daniel Ricciardo, you can lick the stamp and send it in the DD2 class.
You definitely can. Now, Jonathan Markussen, does he make some more strides this time? Was 1.2 seconds a lap ago. What is the gap here with 6 laps complete? It's 9/10 of a second. That's a 3.5 improvement for Jonathan Markussen. Yesterday, he looked like it. He had glimpses where maybe he was going to be able to arrive on the scene. Today, he looks like he will arrive on the scene with only 6 laps complete as we approach the halfway marker here in this 15-lap main event. Gianluca Savalio and that Premier Karting Cosmic for Racing Edge Motorsports as well, leading the way, trying to hang on, trying to sweep the weekend of DD2 and get himself closer to that Rotax World Finals ticket. And on the flip side, Jonathan Markussen trying to keep his World Finals ticket hopes alive.
Manuel Ochoa is closing on Matthew Taskinen. Ochoa is within 1.2 seconds of Ochoa. Now, we said earlier, karting mums and dads are very, very different creatures. The dads are there to cheer and cajole. The mums come in two different varieties. The ones that cannot bear to watch their sons and daughters on the track, and the ones that live and breathe every single corner. Manuel Ochoa's mum is one of the latter, cheering and shouting, and Manuel can probably hear her cheering and shouting from inside his crash helmet. But the game is on the front. 0.8 of a second is the gap. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, Gianluca Savalio and Jonathan Markinson started today stationary on the circuit, not wanting to move in qualifying. Neither one wanted to be the one that led the other one out. So they sat there on the track in qualifying, motionless. Now they are absolutely flat chat, foot to the boards, going guns a-blazing. Here in DD2, we're on lap 8 of 15. We're still only halfway home, and we're going to have a battle for third place because Manuel Ochoa has just at a 102.8 for Manuel Ochoa. He's just gone half a second a lap quicker than Matthew Taskinen.
It's hard to guess which battle could open up first. That time, unfortunately, Ochoa made a little mistake. At the same time, Taskinen picked it up, and that half a second gap opened back up to 1.2 seconds. However, out front here, it is down again just to 0.8 as it's evened out from Markinson to Savalio. I think it's got a little bit closer this lap, but Jonathan Markinson, do you have anything more in the tank? He's right at that buffer zone within a second where he found himself yesterday not being able to punch through, not being able to close any further. Man, did he close in the braking zone that time in the Piquet teardrop.
Out of turn number 16, into 17. Savalio improves and sets a new personal best, a 102.3. Markinson, a new fastest lap, a 102.1. Same as yesterday, Xander. Every time Jono Markinson ups the stakes, Gianluca Savalio responds. Every time Savalio responds, Markinson digs a little bit deeper. If they dig any deeper, they'll hit the water table.
Yeah, wow. Here can Jonathan Markinson get any bit closer. That time, good exit out of turn number 8 here. Over into turns 9, 10, and 11 here. This time by, the leaders will see 5 laps to go. They're probably going to get to Colin Livington again here, but Colin's been a good sport about staying out of the way. Now, Colin slowed down a little bit over the course of the day. I don't know if he's just, I mean, you'd think he'd be going faster because it's quicker to get the day done and get to partying at night.
There's a cocktail waiting at the end of the race. But I got to say, Colin Livington, you know, this race, I mean, Manuel Ochoa, an international athlete, he is struggling with his ribs. And you can imagine what the elder driver is doing as well. Livington, though, 106.6 in this race for Colin Livington. But he's just waiting. He's going to have there. But it's game on at the front. Savalio and Markinson have finally joined. And it's now going to be a dogfight to the end. Savalio, the number 707, the REM Racers Edge Motorsport Cosmic Chassis, has got the Praga kart of Jonathan Markinson, the Zenith Racing driver this weekend, climbing all of the back of him. He's nipping at his ankles like a terrier at a postman.
Almost there here. Announcement in the paddock as well. While this race comes to a close, we know we're just a few minutes behind schedule. Podiums will be right after the DD2 Max main event, right in front of the skybox. So podium ceremonies will kick off right after this main event wraps up here as the field goes through. Out of 18 to 19 this time by 4 laps to go. Gianluca Savalio. Jonathan Markinson lost a little bit of time this time by. He's got to close back up. He had, I think, an opportunity 1 lap ago. Can he claw himself forward to give him that opportunity again? And when he gets it, will he take advantage here? Gianluca Savalio has led every lap of competition in DD2 Max. He has had pressure, but he has yet to have an attempt at the lead. Markinson, the closest thing so far. Look at him mob the curves down the S's. He is so close here as they come out of 9.
We're not looking further back. Manuel Ochoa, I think his body has given up. Ochoa, Markinson over the curbs there. Dust flying. Ochoa is in pain and is just eased back. He's 3 seconds a lap slower than what he was earlier on. That young man is incredibly tired. But Markussen was a little bit sketchy out of turn number 11. He has got to get his head down. He is going to take a little more time to close back in if he can. It's not all she wrote just yet. Markussen cannot make any more. There was Savalio's mechanic you just saw giving Sorry the signal saying go, go, go. The gap has grown. The gap grew, but now it's going to shrink again. Markussen, Aussie grit, closing back in.
Yeah, you can see the gap here. You can see as well the times have fallen off, though. They are 3 to 4 tenths a lap slower than where they were. Everyone's at their limit. The tires at their limit. The engines have been pushed all weekend, and the drivers themselves have been pushed past their limits as well on this long minute and a change racetrack lap times and a total 15-lap main event. There's your 2 leaders. Let's go back and see on the rest of the field here as they go through the Piquet teardrop first and second on by. Third place back on the racetrack, Matthew Taskinen has started to fade backwards as well. Of course, the CRG driver from Canada seems to be holding up decently well, but his pace has subsided to a second a lap slower. Look at Manuel Ochoa. Again, Colin Livington going to give the leaders a wave by there into the final turn. Very courteous of Colin.
Excellent,
but back to Manuel Ochoa.
2 to go, and there's Ochoa. Look at the way he is just hanging on to that car. He is staying away from the curbs. I wouldn't be surprised if that young man has cracked a rib or two. I saw him in the lunch break and he said he was struggling to breathe a little bit, and that was before the second round of heats. Don't forget, he was doing 2 classes. That young man has gritted his teeth, and if it wasn't for that young man, we would have only started DD2 with 4 drivers. He took the plunge when 3 others withdrew from this class. He was the one who said, okay, if there's a kart there, I'll do it. I'll race the 2 classes. He is he clears the curb there, and you can just
see how much it's beating him up, man. How physical these karts are, and he's having to just take it easy.
That young man, though, hats off to that young man. Hats off to this young man. Hang on. Oh, Markussen has, I think, cried enough now. I hope there's not a mechanical problem. While we were talking there, Markussen has faded badly. Has Markussen had a problem? Savalio goes through. Where is Jonathan Markussen? He eased off. What happened there? A 107 for Markussen. And yeah, I think Markussen, they will save and fight this for another day. But let's talk about Savalio. This the last lap. Xander Clements, what a weekend it's been. The Rotax Winter Trophy, it came back last year, but it has really arrived on the scene. The US karting scene, take note, the Rotax name is back, it's growing, and at this brand new facility, the stars of Rotax have put on a show.
Yeah, Gianluca Savalio, no better way here to demonstrate the survival of the fittest, the making it through the entire weekend, double duty, and he is the most fit one to finish and keeps his pace on all the way through. Gianluca Savalio for Team Canada sweeps the weekend in DD2 Max. He wins here in the 15-lap main event as the rest of the field faded there with arm pump and all kinds of fatigue. It was no match for Gianluca Savalio. Jonathan Marcus in second. Matthew Taskin in third. Manuel Ochoa will finish in the 4th spot as Colin Livington gave a lap away. He pumps his fist to finish all 14 laps for him. Manuel Ochoa, a lot of grit, a lot of kudos to this young man to sticking it out and running the entire 15-lap main event. It goes to show how unbelievably physically demanding the sport of karting can be, and what a way to wrap things up then. But all drivers completing the laps, no mechanical DNFs, no crashes, no controversy at the end. And here's the best part again about this weekend, Henry. I know we had a couple red flags yesterday in qualifying. No injuries here during the race weekends. No red flags during the races. A couple hiccups here and there on starts. But for a brand new racetrack, a brand, really not a brand new series, it feels like. It feels like a completely different championship than 2022.
Exactly.
To go off as smooth as it did. Awesome weekend.
And as a race meeting, today was a really well-run race meeting. And I'm going to let you finish out, Xander. You're Kart Chaser. You're Mr. Kart Chaser. And this has been a Kart Chaser production of the 2023 Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals. However, our job is not only to describe the racing to you, the viewers back home, to the people in the paddock here, the drivers, their families, things like that, to give the drivers some memories to look back on when they look at YouTube all throughout the year. Our job is also to tell stories, and we have had lots of stories to tell about the drivers, about their struggles, about them overcoming adversity, about the successes, the failures, the ups and the downs that each one of the 85 drivers here from 15 nations have gone through this weekend. We're storytellers. This is the first chapter. This is the first chapter of the 2023 Rotax Winter Trophy. The second and final chapter takes place next weekend at the Orlando Kart Centre. We are the storytellers, and this has been the story of the opening 2 rounds of the 2023 Rotax Winter Trophy. It's been such a pleasure to be able to join you, Xander. Thank you very much. A thank you to Kart Chaser. Thank you to you for watching, and well, take us home.
Yeah, well, of course, obviously, Henry, like I mentioned to you at the beginning of this weekend, I've been a big fan of yours growing up as a kid watching the Rotax World Finals.
I'm not that old.
Well, that's more so how young I am. But truthfully, here, as we see the congratulations, look at everybody spent in that DD2 Max main event.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, Ochoa's not getting out of his cart yet. I don't think he can.
They're taking a minute. My goodness, yeah, but everyone, kudos to it.
Look at those eyes. Wow.
Yeah.
That is a 15-year-old driver who has given it everything, absolutely everything. You want to know what karting means to these drivers? You look in his eyes. That's what it means. He is spent. And there's the best half of you winner. The bit that doesn't show
Gianluca Savaglio.
The bit that doesn't show his boat race. No.
Shows all the sponsors, doesn't show his face. There he is here. Gianluca Savaglio will push on through the scale line, go to post-race technical inspection. But again, Henry, it's been a pleasure here to have you, the voice of Rotax Karting and the voice of many, many international kart racing events. We're excited to be back again for those of you watching. That means we're back for Chapter 2 of the Rotax Max Challenge Winter Trophy next week in 6 days' time, not even 7, because we're back live on Saturday. The testing will begin early in the weekend. The social media coverage will continue through the week.
Yep.
We are so excited for that. Those in the paddock, of course, the podium ceremonies continue today. And then when the podium ceremonies happen a week from now in 7 days, we'll be giving away Rotax World Finals tickets to the Bahrain. So excited to continue that story here. For Henry Beaudet, for Rotax Global, the RTX karting group here, the Piquet Race Park team that did an awesome job putting on their first ever race event, their first ever national and international level race event at the same time. And of course, for everyone here at Kart Chaser, thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys in just a few days.